Hello world, Alexandre Buckley here, and let's talk games. So, it's been a while since I've done a PlayStation 2 classic, and I thought what better classic to go for than the game that had the biggest impact on me when I was growing up, which was Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. There is so much to dive into this game. Now, when the PlayStation 2 first came out, it had a slew of great titles, and there was just standard stuff that would always appeal, like the sports titles, the fighting games, the racing games, the platformers, all that was fine. But there was no, for me at least, there was no major sort of must-have title. And then slowly but surely in magazines and in interviews, you would just hear murmurs and see screenshots of Metal Gear Solid. Now, being quite young at the time, I didn't have the opportunity to play the original Metal Gear, so I had no idea what Metal Gear was about, but all I could see were these cool shots of this like shady character sneaking around, trying to outwit guards, trying to shoot things, and he was hunting something, you didn't know he was hunting. And very interestingly, everything they showed to preview the game was all based around, I wouldn't say it's the first level because it's a very long game obviously, but if you think of it in two sections, inside the tanker and then everything that goes past the tanker, sort of the first quarter of the game is in the tanker in Metal Gear Solid 2. Everything shown to promote the game was in that tanker, so all you ever saw was Snake himself running around on the tanker, on the top of the boat, going into the tanker, and it was just incredible. And you've got to keep in mind, at the time, things that were being done here had never been seen before, and one of the big things I remember was that when Snake was walking, if he had just come from outside and it was raining, which it was in the tanker level, his footprints could be seen on the ground, which that would have been cool in itself. But then the actual enemies that you're trying to hide from and evade, they could see those footprints and they'd be like, whoa, hold on, what's going on here? And they'd follow you. And to me that was just like one of the most impressive things in video. I ain't seen nothing like that before. I mean, I went from playing Sonic, jumping around trying to get rings, to this. This is incredible. This is like a huge step up, basically. And the thing that made it even funnier is that this was a huge jump forward, and if you weren't used to the Metal Gear games, then the kind of humour that he has, and that kind of wittiness where they do that massive sort of alert sound, and everyone sort of jumps around there. It's a bit sort of slapsticky, a bit comical, and it's also uber serious. It's like a weird blend between the two of them. And this game is just incredible. The other thing that I'd never seen before, which a lot of people had not seen before until they play a Metal Gear game, is the sort of cinematic approach to a video game. So you'd get all these crazy shots. It looked like a movie. The actual thing looked like a movie. You had these panning shots, you had these sort of overhead drone type shots. It's just great. This is more like an action film, which makes sense because the creator has said he's been inspired from different type of genres, most particularly action movies from American culture. So yeah, it's kind of cool. But to have that in a video game is insane. The other thing you also had is there's a lot, and I mean a lot of story, there's a lot of dialogue, and it just goes on and on and on. And pretty much the crux of it in this first level is that you are trying to get information on Metal Gear, which at the time, if you didn't know what Metal Gear was, you were just like, okay, it must be something big, secret and military based, sure, whatever. No spoilers in case you haven't played the game, but basically you're like, okay, I'm on this tank, I'm trying to find something. You're about to get some information. You're looking at the information, you're trying to scout the place out, and then suddenly a terrorist group sort of invades, the tanker takes over, and then that sort of alerts you that not everything is on the up and up, and you've got to dig into this ship and just sort of go through the different areas and try and find out more information. Firstly, find out the Metal Gear, then find out what's going on. The game is insane. It's so much fun. In fact, I remember when, well, this is a thing a while ago, you used to have demo discs on magazines, and one of the big things on the demo discs on magazines was that they had the whole tanker level. That was actually available to play. Now, the game was programmed, the demo disc was programmed to cut out after an hour, but it was the entire tanker section of the game, so it was possible for you to play the first quarter of the game and get all the story and all the rest of that in an hour. However, no one did that, obviously. So, being a kid growing up, I remember going to school and every single person was playing this game, they were talking about this game, they were waiting for this game to come out, and then when the game came out, it became a thing of who could do what and who could get where, and it was really funny. Like, it'd be this thing of like, oh yeah, I've done the first boss or whatever, which was I believe her name was Olga, and you only had a tranquilizer dart to shoot her, and it was crazy, it took ages. Everyone did that. But then everyone would get stuck at the next section, and it'd be this thing for like a week where nobody knew how to get past it, and then one kid would get past it, and then you had to be really friendly with this kid just to be like, hey, how did you get past it? What was the trick? What was the secret? Because bear in mind, we didn't have the sort of infrastructure we have on the internet now. You can just Google it and find a video of someone completing it. So once someone worked it out, you just tried to get as much information as possible so you could work it out, and it was almost like a race, but this weird experience where essentially everyone you knew was playing this game and everyone was trying to complete this game. And I distinctly remember that when the game came out, I think it was maybe 5 months before anyone said they finished the game, and no one believed them, because when they finished the game they couldn't explain how it ended. Now, having finished the game myself, I can tell you now, I can't really explain how this ended. I had to go on YouTube and watch a video when I was older to try and work out the plot, because it makes absolutely no sense, and it's very pretentious and very like whatever. But regardless of that, it's one of the most fun games ever made. It's one of the most in-depth games ever made. You can smoke in this game and it does actually affect your health, which is quite funny. You can hide in boxes, of course, to stay invisible. This game is just excellent, and if you've not played this on the PlayStation 2, you are sorely missing out. They have ported this game across other consoles as well, but to be honest with you, as we've seen in this generation, there's been a lot of remasters. If I could have one thing remastered, it would probably be the Metal Gear games. I'd love a remaster of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear 1 so I could get a chance to play it. I know they remastered the Metal Gear 1 on the GameCube, but it'd be good to just update these titles so that a new generation can play these games, and generations like mine can go back and play and experience these games again. But this is one of the best games ever made, period. It's got some of the best controls, some of the best graphics. Granted, you have to keep in mind for the console at the time, but also, you know, where we were with technology and stuff like that. This is groundbreaking, and this is revolutionary, and this sets the gold standard, and this was a must-have on a PlayStation 2. So for all those of you out there who've never heard of it, definitely try and check it out. It's an insanely good game, and it's great fun, and fingers crossed they one day remake it. I don't think it will happen, because obviously things have kind of soured between the creator and the studio, but you know, we can always hope, wish and dream. So this is my retro throwback for the week. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, one of my favourite and best games of all time. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, and once again, I am trying to grow this channel, so if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I'd also greatly appreciate it too, to help me grow the channel. That's going to do it for this one, guys, so I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.